Chicagoans to vote locally?
Absolutely imperative. There's a really super small amount of people usually turn out for municipal elections, and it's really important because these are people who have direct control over a lot of things in your day-to-day life versus the bigger elections people often don't, right? So these are really important things.
And I know you're following the voter guide Girl, I Guess. What are your thoughts on Brandon Johnson?
I really like Brandon. He's one of the only progressive candidates that we have really seen be really successful lately. I was lucky enough to meet him, and he just strikes me as the kind of person who he's serious about it. He's not just, full of hot air. So I really like that.
How does Brandon Johnson plan on handling crime or crime on the CTA?
I think that a lot of people have a lot of ideas about crime. I couldn't tell you how he wants to specifically handle it, as far as going out there himself. But what I like about him is that he really is invested in the idea that neighborhoods we need to strengthen neighborhoods, and we need to invest in neighborhoods rather than just investing in policing. We've been doing that for a long time, and it's ended up in not good ways. So I think the idea that we can combat crime by just putting more police on the street has not been effective, and it's been shown to not be effective.
What concerns you most about the upcoming election, and what gives you hope?
It's very concerning to me to see more people going down to basically be utilizing crime as a dog whistle in Chicago. And I think what gives me hope is that the conversations that have actually been happening on these debate stages and within a lot of talking points have been more about how are we investing in communities around a lot of things. But one of the things I'm really happy about is they've been talking a lot about bike lanes and because there's been a lot of bike deaths in Chicago, and if we want to have a more sustainable future, we're going to have to get away from cars at some point, and Chicago is not the safest place for that,
Mayor Lori Lightfoot is running for re-election. What are your thoughts on this?
Lori has been fine. I disagree with her on a couple of things, personally, but I think this is one of the beauties of living in a city with a really, relatively progressive leftist kind of voter base and political race. The mayoral election tends to be that as well, as well as the aldermanic elections. And so, I think that she's had a really tough time during the pandemic. I think with the parade of people that come out, you can see that a lot of people think that there should be some new blood and new ideas in the mayoral office, and I think that means it's time for her to move on. I think Lori will do fine.
What issues do you hope the elected officials follow through with handling after the election?
Well, I really do hope, on a personal basis, I really hope that they do more of this investing in communities. I'm a big fan of that, and a lot of the communities, specifically in the South Side and the Southwest Side where I live, have been very much ignored. We're near industrial areas, so there's higher pollutants in the areas. And over again, the city has invested in North Side neighborhoods, into pedestrian, into river walks, into bike lanes, and then they ignore areas that are poorer in the South. And these are things that the more that you can invest in these communities, not just that, but lots of other things, the more that people will see and not feel like Chicago is ignoring them.
And then lastly, do you have any closing thoughts or advice for Chicagoans who might not be so invested in politics yet?
To me, this is where the only place where politics actually matters. You're not, national politics are, everybody's going to have ideas, but not a lot of people are going to get a lot done. Whereas your alderman controls an enormous amount of money in your ward to do things that directly affect your neighborhood. You need a stop sign, that is your alderman. They're going to help you take care of that. There are issues that are going on that directly affect your neighborhood. You can talk to your alderman about that, and they will work through that and see how they can they control a lot of grants, a lot of neighborhood improvement money, and I think a lot of people just don't realize that they can access these things, and that's the point of having these aldermen. City council has a lot of power, and the fact that so few people have any idea who they're trying to, who is running, or even if they're even voting for them, is just really it's really sad to me, because this is where you can actually take control of your neighborhood.
All right, well, that's all I have for you. So thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
We will totally see you at the polls.